Hi, I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a Kawai Studio Upright I rather enjoyed playing. Really musical, beautiful sound and a responsive touch. This is a model UST-8 built in 1999 here in the US. Kawai had opened a factory in North Carolina, I think in the late 80s or early 90s, in Lincolnton, North Carolina, to manufacture specifically consoles and studio uprights that had a Japanese design. That they made the UST-8 in Japan also, and its predecessors, the UST-7 and 6. This was the institutional style. They also made many consoles that had more of a decorator style, and in both cases they had cabinets that were put together and finished by American cabinet makers who were perhaps better versed in the aesthetics of American furniture that was popular in the 20th century, and that's why actually both Yamaha and Kawai ran factories in this country for quite a while. They figured that, they understood that customers weren't quite so enthralled with this shiny gloss ebony finished pianos in a continental contemporary style case, at least at the time, which console pianos tended to have if they were made by Yamaha or Kawai. And American customers weren't quite so happy with Japanese attempts to make more of an American furniture style, so in my opinion they figured best solution, open a factory in the US and make the pianos there. And that's how this piano came to be. Yamaha P22 was another model that was made in a very similar fashion. It had both this and the Yamaha often had walnut and oak finishes that were a good match for American homes and schools. This was meant for more institutional use. This is a school studio. It has a very chunky, durable case with a gigantic music desk that allows anyone who's playing put a whole bunch of sheet music on it. And this studio height also allows it to, it's tall enough to produce a deep sound, but it's not so tall that you can't see over it. And I can envision many times in the past it has happened, a pianist accompanying some musical ensemble like a chorus or a band or some school orchestra. They need to take cues from a conductor or a chorus leader. Well, they have to look over to the top of the piano to see them. And that is basically the perfect size of piano for that. Enough to produce a deep sound that can be heard within an ensemble, but not so big that you can't see over it, nor so big that it overwhelms other instruments. Really just a very functional piano. It has double casters, all four casters, rubber, which allow it to roll across the floor by two people safely without scratching the floor. It's really meant to be rolled between classrooms or across a ballet studio or between practice rooms, classrooms, what have you. And it's really functional piano, and musically I think quite appealing. Kawai is known for more of a rounded, mellow sound. Not that it lacks clarity. In my opinion, Kawai being a manufacturer based in Japan, the aesthetic was for a clear sound, and Yamaha already had that pretty well figured out. Kawai, at least the founder, Koichi Kawai, was originally an employee at Yamaha. He left and started his own company in 1927 in the same city in Japan, Hamamatsu. He ended up distinguishing his own pianos from Yamaha by aiming for more of a warmer, mellower, rounded sound. Not lacking in clarity, but it has that nice combination of clarity and mellowness. And I think it's really endeared a lot of classical pianists to these pianos over the years, and especially piano teachers who want their students to be prepared for a more massive feel of a Steinway, like you would see on a stage, which is also going to have more of a mellow sound. Steinway is known for that. For students who can't afford a Steinway to have at home, Kawai is very often a recommendation in those cases because musically it's relatively similar to what they have to play on in a teacher's studio or on a stage if they have them do concerts. Well, this piano has all that. It has really, I think, a warm, gentle, mellow sound. And I'm really pleased with how it's just a really, it really flatters the music, especially classical music. Those were two pieces, Domenico Scarlatti, his keyboard sonata K25, and Schubert's Hungarian Melody was the second piece. Both pieces I chose because I think they will be well flattered by the more gentle, warm, and mellow sound of this piano, and it really worked out. It made it sound really beautiful. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Accordingly, I would rate the tone of this piano a 4 on the scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. That's typical for Kawai, and this piano has that sound. So if you already know about Kawai, if you know about everything I've just said, rest assured this piano has that sound, and you'll be quite pleased with it. And likewise to touch, it's a little firm, but not too hard. I'll call it a 6 on the scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm. And it's super smooth and responsive, especially when using the left pedal, which that reduces the distance of the hammer blow. Whatever Kawai does on their upright pianos, I find this to be consistent. When you use the left pedal, I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's the way they voiced their hammer felt. It just really produces a super soft, gentle sound. Some pianists use the left pedal frequently, some never use it. But rest assured, if that's a concern to you, this piano has a really pleasant sounding left pedal, just by the way Kawai made it in the first place. And I find it to be consistent on Kawai uprights, especially from the 90s and later, and this piano has that. So 4 and 6 for tone and touch. It does have a middle, not a middle pedal. It has a original matching duet bench. This is a walnut finish on this piano. And I can say it was made for institutions, but the piano rather obviously was not in an institution because the bench wouldn't look this good. If it were, it would be all beat up, and the piano would be all beat up. This is a relatively undamaged case. A few dings if you look around. I can touch it up before it goes out for delivery. It's a type of piano that we're confident putting a 10-year warranty on all parts and labor because it hasn't been abused by its previous owner. They took good care of it, didn't use it very much. And we would ask the same of you, that you have it tuned twice a year by a professional technician and kept away from extremes of humidity. Doing so will ensure the longevity of any piano, especially its wooden components, no matter the size or the brand. And, well, if you do that, you can return to us at any point in the future and trade this piano in precisely for its instrument sales price. That's what we mean by 100% lifetime trade-up. And again, teachers like to recommend our store knowing that they can take advantage, or their students can take advantage of that lifetime trade-up. They want them to sort of earn the opportunity to play on a nicer piano, first by playing on a modest but well-made piano like this, and then as they get better, that's when a teacher recommends another piano later on that's larger and substantially nicer. But rest assured, Kawais are workhorses. They are well built and easy for us technicians to service. Both Yamaha and Kawai, in my opinion, they were at the forefront of making pianos easy to service, especially back in the 20th century when other manufacturers haven't really prioritized that yet. And that's a large part of why piano technicians, in particular, recommend these pianos so often. They're just easy to take apart, easy for us to get the tools where we need them to go in order to make any adjustments that are necessary if something does go wrong, like a warranty issue. And well, it just makes their jobs easier, and it makes them happier. They get better results. And well, that's a large part of why Yamaha and Kawai together have gained the solid reputation that they have. And I would say this is yet another example of why. So please stop by. You can try this out, play it for yourself along with anything else in our inventory. But if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.